Okay, good evening, everyone. You hear me?
Yes, sure.
Hear me well? Good. Okay. I think my internet not quite good. So let me know if like there is any cut off during my talk. Okay. Okay. Check. So we have 32, 31 here. Probably there are more. How many students registered here? Let me check. So you should have 34, I think. 35, 34, 35, yeah. Mm, Okay, welcome to IE407, International Finance. Um, I think it might be a little bit painful today because the first day of the semesters, it falls on Valentine's Day. Maybe some of you got any got the date or appointment with family or friends. So sorry for this. But we do put this day by purpose actually. So just bear with me, and because it's the first day actually, I I usually do not hold student long during their first session because it's just the first day and we just get to know each other. We talk about the course a little bit, um, and I will present about the introductions a little bit. So it might not be take that long, but later, like the next week or later lectures, it will be like um, the whole sessions. Okay, so I will start off um, by. So at first we need to know each other. Um, actually, uh, so I will introduce myself a little bit, brief about my background, a little bit qualifications, and then I will let you do it yourself. So probably you see my face on my photo, but during my introduction, I will do a little bit of I will turn on my camera because at least you know you see my face. Um, and if you see me outside somewhere, you can recognize me actually. So when you do the introduction, you please also turn on your camera as well, so that at least I know your face actually. So um, my name you already know. My name is Watay, or you can call me. So you call me lecturer Watay something. Oh no, I mean lecturer Watay, and don't like um uh, 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 give me any other name beside my name. So because I did during my time as a student, like we always give teach lecturers um the the other name beside his name. So please don't just call me lecturer Watay something like this. So this is my uh, uh so I have been teaching at IFA for 3 years. I teach international finance and I teach regional economy as well. But the in the previous semester I didn't take the class because I really busy at office. I cannot take the time, so I just take the international finance this semester. Um, so I About my background, I start off with my bachelor degree. So I do two bachelor at the same times. Probably some of you do as well. So I take finance and bankings at Northern University, and another one Bachelor of Education in English at IFL. So I was also a former student here at IFL. I mean, and I graduated from IFL in 2010. So 12 years ago. You can imagine how old I am. But don't ask about my age, okay? So, and then after my graduations, I started my career. I passed an exam at NBC, so I was a government official at the National Bank in Cambodia. I at my first place at the NBC, I working under the banking supervision department, and now I transfer into economic research and international cooperation department. So at my department, we do economic analysis, and we also do the international cooperation in terms of with other international agency, with other central bank as well. So, but I'm not like a professional in international relation actually. So I'm more like on economics analysis, but we do both actually. So, and then so I got a scholarship to pursue my master in Japan in 2014, I think, master in public policies. And then I returned back and worked for some years. And then I got another scholarship from Australia, under Australia Award Scholarship. I think they just engaged the office at IFL as well. So studying Master of Economics. So for now, having two bachelors, having two masters. I'm not going to do the third one actually, for sure, but PhD maybe. So I do have other uh, profession as well. So I also doing the ACCA. Some of you may know at CAMED. I'm not keen on accounting actually, but because at that time I got a scholarship, so I just go and sit in the class. But I'm not fond on accounting, but because I already get the scholarship, I just go there. I already finished my ACCA at CAMED, but I don't go. I mean, I don't work any field related to accounting actually. So I'm still at NBC. So that's all my background, my qualification, and my careers. It's not really interesting because after I graduate from IFO, I just go straight to NBC. I don't involve in any private sectors much. I mean, I don't work for private sectors. So my career, 12 years, about 12 years is at NBC, and that's all. So any questions?
Teacher, I have a question. Teacher, now I study IE, so can I use this bachelor to exam at NBC?
Of course. So no, I mean, I'm not the examiner, the committee for the entrance exam, but yeah, we do recruit. So sometimes we recruit people in IT specifically, and some other year we recruit people that major in economics finance and banking or related field. And at some year we specifically recruit those who have a profession in international relation as well. So it depends. But of course, yeah, you can. So you don't want to work for private sector? No, because for me, so when I when I got the result at NBC, I also got a offer from one of the big bank in Cambodia. So for me, I really want to work at the private sector because at the time we are more like private is kind of high class, higher salary, for example. So, but because my family, all of us, we are in we are government official. I mean, my parents, my sisters, so all the family are work for the public sectors, work for the government. So they influenced me to work for the government. They said the government job is more stable. And it looked like you are prestige, like you work at central bank. So but it depends on you whether you have a goal. You can decide which sectors you want or where you want to work. Yeah. But it's a good questions. Any question? Any more question? Actually, I have one of my students now. Is an intern at my department as well. So we do recruit intern as well. If you're interested, next time probably you can apply it. So if you do the intern and your performance is good, probably the management will consider put you in our contract or to recruit you as a official staff. So if we don't have any recruitment during the years after your graduation, you can apply for the intern. So I have a lot of intern in my department, and some of them, I think 2 or 3 from IE407. Yeah, they are my students. So even I don't remember their face, but they said they are my students, so I trust them. Okay. Any questions? Probably I talk too fast.
Teacher, I have one more
Yes.
question.
Mm-hmm.
If it's possible to change the work from other ministry to NBC?
What do you mean change?
For example, for a government at other ministry to change to the government at NBC.
You need to, again, because the NBC, even NBC is the public sector, but we are not the government. We are not the government. We are not under the government. I mean, we are independent. We have the NBC is independent. So if you want to transfer from the government, from the ministry to NBC, I think you cannot, because we have different different term or different criteria for the staff. So you need to have an exam. I think some of the staff, they also do the exam and they move from other ministry as well. And yeah, but within the ministry, government ministry, you can transfer. For example, from Ministry of, for example, Commerce to MEF, you can transfer. But there are other administration procedure. But for NBC, you cannot transfer because we are not under the government.
Thank you,
And
teacher.
we are not using the taxpayer money. Okay, I mean the NBCs. So other ministries, they are under the governments. So their salary is from the taxpayer, but for the NBC, we are not. Okay, good questions. Any other questions? Don't ask about my age, okay?
Teacher, I have a question, Chair.
Mm-hmm.
Chair, who the governor of the embassy reports to who, Chair? To whom? We
report to the prime ministers, directly to the prime ministers.
Oh, I thought embassy is independent from the prime minister.
No, independent mean we independent from the government, but because we work. Actually, our work is closely related. So the prime minister is the top of the country. He need to know everything about the countries. So, but we are not report to like Ministry of Finance, or I mean Minister of Finance or Minister of Commerce, but we report directly to the top, to the prime ministers.
Okay, Chair. Thanks, Chair. Yeah. So it's different from GDT, Chair.
Who? Oh, from
GDT, they report to Ministry of Economy and Finance.
PDT.
Tax Department, Chair.
Okay. Yeah, because tax department, they are under Ministry of Economic and Finance. Economy and Finance. So tax department and custom department are under the Ministry of Economy and Finance.
Okay, Chair. Thank you, Chair.
Any other questions?
Hello, teacher. I have a question.
Yes.
Teacher, regarding to international finance, we actually have like maybe know a little background of it, but we actually have seen it a little bit in previous semester. So what do you help us prepare for what is going to be next in this semester in your class, teacher?
Okay, previous semester, international finance. So you already seen the textbook, the lectures?
No, teacher, actually not international finance. It's a little bit background of finance in international monetary economics class, teacher.
Oh, yeah. Actually, it's a problem within the two subject because so can we talk about that later after you introduce yourself?
Yes, teacher, yes.
Okay, good. So probably let me check there. So before we start the lectures, we should know each other's. Like it's the art of war, you know. You know yourself and you know your enemy. You are not my enemy, but at least I know who you are, where you're from. So just tell me, when you do the introduction, just tell me your name, where you're from, if you're from the province, and then let me know your qualification as well, if you do 2 degree, for examples. And please turn on your camera as well when you talk, because I want to know your face. I'm sure I will not recognize everyone, but at least I will feel familiar with your face. Is everyone okay?
Okay, yes, teacher.
Yeah, but I've turned on my camera for internet purposes. Okay. So the first one I call Traina. Here. Traina is here.
She'll come back. Sure, she has problem with internet.
Okay, so then Kiwari, Bin Kiwari, okay.
Yes, yes. Yes, can you hear me, lecturer?
Yes, of course.
Yes, so good evening, lecturer. My name is Varik. So currently I'm pursuing 2 degrees as well, which is IE and CAMAT. I'm currently pursuing ACCA as well. And yes. So yeah, basically that's it from me. Thank you.
So what paper you are in now?
I already finished my CAT, but currently I'm working on F9 and F7.
Oh yeah. Okay, good. I feel like so I teach 3 years. Most of my students they study at IE407 and came at why? Why is your choice?
I'm not really sure.
Because at CAMAT you're also doing like probably similar course, economic something, right?
Yes, we do micro and macro as well.
That's why I wonder why you do like CAMAT and then you do IE at IE407. But a lot of students do that.
Yes, lecturer.
Okay. Thank you, Vari. And then Ratiriat. Ratiriat is here.
Yes, lecturer.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening, lecturer. My name is Buddha TV, and I'm sorry for the video because I haven't clicked the webcam yet.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah, I am just 2 degrees, which is I've IE, and the other one is the medical. I mean, I'm a medical student.
Okay, good. We need you actually.
And I guess that's it for me.
What year are you in now?
I am in 4th year as well.
Okay, so you do at the University of Health Science?
Oh, yes, literally.
Okay, yeah, good. Thank you. Then next, Tech Udom.
Hello, Chair. My name is Ukdom and I'm from Phnom Penh. Actually, I study a major and one more is a minor CAT at CAMAT.
Oh, it's not minor.
I don't know, Chair. I study only 2 years, but the rest they study 4 years. So it's not bachelor, it's just CAT.
Yeah, but CAT is also hard as well, I think. Yeah, but it's not minor.
Yeah, Chair. So yeah, after I graduate, maybe I will consider ACCA as well.
Yeah, please. You should.
Yeah, Chair.
Yeah, thank you. So next one is Visa. So Visa.
Yes. Good evening, lecturers. My name is Vishal. I'm pursuing only 1 degree, just BS, and however, I'm working now. I'm working in a private sector.
Oh, okay, you're working. Okay, good.
Yes.
So you're not work today? I mean, you don't work today?
No, I'm working. I'm leaving now.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. Thank you, Visa and Moni. Moni is here.
Good evening, Lex, and hello, everyone. Yes, my name is Mani, and I pursue only 1 degree, which is IE. Yes, and I was born and raised in Phnom Penh.
Okay,
yes,
good.
all from me.
You're not brother and sister, right?
Yes, like.
Are you brother and sister? Like you have the same.
No,
we
are
right?
not. We are not.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we have so what? The same surname as same person.
Good evening, teacher and everyone. So my name is Sawat, and actually I'm already graduated with 2 degrees. international relation and also Bachelor of Education, and I'm studying international economic for certificate.
Certificate. Okay.
Yes.
So you're doing BF?
Yes.
And IO at the same time?
Yes, Chair.
Okay. Okay. I understand. And now you're doing IE. You love IFA so much, I think.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, thank you. So Darlene is here. I could not hear you.
Hello, teacher.
Yes.
Yes. Can you see the video? Can you see my?
No. Probably the video doesn't work. Probably.
Yes. So can I just go straight to
introduction? Okay. Yeah.
Good evening, teacher and everyone. My name is Darlene. I am from Phnom Penh, and currently I am only pursuing one degree, which is DA. That's all.
Only one degree. Okay, good. Thank you. So, thank you, Darlene. So turning on your camera doesn't mean I want to track where you are, actually. I just want to see your face. Don't be afraid, okay? Dane, yeah, Dane.
Good evening, lecturer. My name is Cao Dane, and currently I'm taking only one bachelor degree. It's international economic, and also I am working in one local bank.
Oh, okay, good. A banker. Thank you, Dane. Now, Quan nhà gót, Lâm Quan nhà gót. I don't hear you.
Unmute, bro. Unmute.
Okay.
Hello, teacher.
Hello.
Yeah, my name is
student from Royal Administrations.
Yeah, teacher.
Okay.
And now I only study IO at IFL, but before I used to study at CBS2, teacher. And that's all from me.
IO or IE?
IE.
So before you study where? Where you study?
At CBS.
Oh, CBS.
Yeah.
So you know, okay.
Sure.
CBS student.
I used to see you at NBC too, teacher.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
When I in NBC.
So, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for recognizing me.
Yeah. Thank you, teacher.
Okay. Thank you for your word. So now next, Tony. Tony. Yes. So you're not brother and sister. You're not brothers.
No, we are not.
Okay.
Okay. Good evening, lecturers and everyone. My name is Tony, and currently I'm only taking one major, which is IE. So that is all about me.
Okay, and you're not working yet, right?
Yes, I'm not working yet. Still unemployed.
Unemployed. It's fine. You will soon after you graduate.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. So next, Suchita. Please, Suchita. Suchita is here. Oh, yeah. Ho, Lee Ho. Oh, still in there.
Yes, teacher. So
yes.
Let me turn on my camera. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. All right. So yeah. Good evening, lecturer and everyone. So my name is Paul. So actually I'm already graduate with IO degree, and I'm just studying for IE just for certificates. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. I think your class. a lot of this year. I mean, a lot of people doing certificate in IR. So, I mean in IE. Is that famous? I'm not sure. Next. Oh, thank you, Hal, for your introductions. Sinh hát, Nham sinh hát. Please unmute yourself.
Yes, sure. Good evening, lecture. So my name is Singh Ha. I'm from Phnom Penh, and currently I only do one degree, which is IE. Yes, that's all. Sure.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sinh Ha. We have Munirwat. Chan Munirwat.
Good evening,
Don't forget to unmute yourself. Yes.
Once again, good evening, teacher. My name is Nirot. I'm from Phnom Penh, and I also have 2 degrees as well. The first one is business administration, and another one is IE.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nirot. So now we have more thoughts on the floor. More thoughts.
Yes. Good evening, lecturer. My name is Nur Murkot, and I'm from Phnom Penh, and currently I only take a 1 degree with HIE.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Same more thoughts. We have Dalia. Delia.
Yes, good evening, lecturers. So my name is Delia, and I also from Phnom Penh, and I only take 1 degree which is IE, and I also work in one of the local bank.
Okay, thank you. Banker, so yeah. We have Lee Hiên here.
So good morning, Lex. So my name is Lee Hieng, and I'm currently pursuing only 1 degree too, but I'm working full time at a private company.
Oh,
Thank
okay,
you.
good. Yeah. Chiu Mei. Chiu Mei is here.
Hello, teacher. Do you see
hello.
my camera, teacher?
No. Camera is not working.
Now, teacher, do you see it?
No. Yes. Okay.
Yes,
now
teacher.
it works.
I'm actually joining 2 devices.
Oh, okay.
So, good evening, teacher. My name is Brong Chu Meng, and I'm currently taking only 1 degree teacher in IE. Yes.
Okay. We have more time, right?
Yes, teacher. Yes.
Okay. Richard is here.
So do I have to open the camera as well? Like,
Yes. I don't know you. I want to see your face actually.
yeah, sure. So good evening, lecturer. So my name is Richard. I'm just a graduate with the IO degree last semester. Last year, so I'm taking a IE as a certificate course. Yes. So and also currently I'm working in one public institution. Yes.
Okay.
I think
Thank you.
that's all.
Yeah. Thank you. We have. I don't know the name. PB. Forgive me if I pronounce your name wrong.
Lecturer, he already dropped out, but the school still put his name in.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Just to confirm, his name is Riam Pirom Bropis, but he already.
Oh. So he already dropped out? Okay, thanks for informing. Srekpet is here?
Yes, teacher. So good evening, lecturer. My name is Sri Srekpet. I am from Phnom Penh and currently only do 1 degree, which is IE.
Okay, thank you. And then we have some naan.
Hello, teacher and everyone. My name is Samnang, and currently I'm working and also studying, and I'm working in banking sector also.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We have vitamin. Vitamin, not vitamin.
Uh, Good evening, I am Sarit Vichimian. I'm from Posad province, and currently I only take IE.
Okay. Thank you. So now your class monitor, Kanitha.
Hi everyone, hi lecturer. I'm Kamtha. I am from Phnom Penh and I'm pursuing 2 degrees. Camet and this.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you. So, Sit Kwang.
Yes.
It's so dark.
I'm sorry. Like my home is the out of electricity.
Cut
The
off.
power is cut off.
Okay.
Yes.
The electricity cut off. Okay.
Yeah. And my name is good evening, lecturer and everyone. My name is Quang, and I'm from Phnom Penh, and currently I take 2 degrees. One is the IE, and another one is chemical engineering. Yes.
Engineering. Okay. At University of Technologies.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Thank you. So we have Sĩ Quang now. Sun Hua. Please unmute yourself.
Unmute, bro.
Please unmute yourself.
Sorry, teacher. Hello, everyone, and hello, teacher. And my name is Sinson Ho. I'm currently doing 2 degrees. One is IE at IFL, and another one BA and CAT at CAMET.
Okay, thank you. A lot of students doing at CAMET. So now we have Sonita. Sonita is here. Sonita is not here.
Teacher, I think she has requested.
Yes.
She has requested to join the class. You haven't invited her yet.
Oh, okay. My internet's not okay. Now I got her. So now I got her. She's here yet. Sonita is here. Not yet, maybe. Okay, maybe she can do it later. And now, saying, was okay. Sorry if I
So
I
my
cannot
name is
pronounce your name.
Okay, so my name is Vasumtai and I only pursuing 1 major degree and also working in 1 private company. That's all the time.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you. And Linh An.
Okay, evening lecturers. So this is Linh An. I'm born and live in Phnom Penh, and currently also doing only 1 degree, which is IE, and also working at private agency as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have Thida. So Thida.
Yes, good evening, lecturer. So I am Thida, and I'm currently doing an academic degree as a media management at DMC. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Last one. Oh, not last one. Sorry. Kim Hua. Sri Kim Hua. Okay.
Who is here? No. Then I go to Monday. Huh? Into you here? Pardon? Who is not here?
People went to US already.
Ah.
Yes, he went with the global exchange, global grad program.
So he's not gonna. He's not gonna join the class, right?
I think.
So how long will he be there? 1 year? Sorry.
So far that I know, he's doing an exchange program. So I think the school might cover or exchange the course for his credit.
Okay.
But I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah. I will take note and inform. I will take note if the school and inform the school as well. Thank you. So we have money, one money. Not here yet. So we have Chanda Nit.
Good evening, lecturers. My name is Teacher Nanit, and currently I'm pursuing 2 degrees, which one is IE and another one is accounting and finance.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Satikon.
Unmute, bro. Unmute.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So I'll start again. Hello, lecturer and everyone. I'm currently only pursue 1 degree, which is IE, and I'm from Ratanakiri province. Yes.
Oh, far.
Yes. Yeah.
So how long did you go back to visit your family? Once a year or?
I really but last year because of COVID, I was visit there in February, and I was stuck there for 7 months, and I only come back
Okay, yeah.
I just come back for a few months.
Yeah. So thank you, Stephen. Lisa. Quang Chan Lisa.
Yes, lecturer. So good evening, lecturer and everyone. My name is Wang Chan Lisa, and I'm from Phnom Penh. Currently, I'm only taking 1 degree here. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Sachanit. Sachanit. Sachanit's not here. No. Okay. No, she's not here yet. Jim Sinasa.
Good evening, lecturers. So my name is James Nasa, and I am pursuing only 1 major, and currently I'm working full time at the banking sector. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So the last one, last in the list, Radawin. You Radawin.
Good evening, teacher and everyone. My name is Yoradavin, and I'm Phnom Penh, and currently, as of now, I only take IE. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, Saina is here yet? No, not yet. The name is not here. So, I didn't call the name. Didn't call anyone in the list here. So you have 39 students. We have 39 students, but in the list I have only 35. Anyone left out? I'm not sure. So because in the list we have 39. The list on my hand, but I got only 35 in the Microsoft team.
The student that should be in this class supposed to be 38 in total. Like,
so 37. Should be one more, right?
It's supposed to be 38. So maybe there might be someone who haven't requested yet, or maybe they're not attending today.
Okay, good. Oh, I think we still have Sonita here. She's back. Yeah, she's here.
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening, lecturer. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sanita, and I'm from Phnom Penh, and I only do one major.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So, thank you everyone for introductions. So, about half of this class doing 2 degree, half of the class doing 1 and work, and a few are unemployed. So, I mean, yeah, you will find your job in soon, but yeah. So probably I'm not sure about so okay, thank you. So today is the first day. As I mentioned, I'm not like going to the lecture very long, and so we start with the talking a little bit about the course. I go back to, I don't know, someone asked me about the course earlier. I forgot his name. Who asked me about Tom, or someone asked me about the course earlier?
Me, teacher.
Okay. So actually, yeah, Chiu Ming. So actually, I already informed the school that your lecturer at previous course, IE405, actually he take the lecture from my class because the monetary economic is different from international finance, but because he already did it, we just go with the flow. So that's why I need to make a lot of change to my course syllabus. That's why I have not give you, I have not posted the course syllabus yet. Probably I will try to find out by this week. So, but I'm thankful for him that he helped me to go through the lectures. Actually, all the lecture you learn in IE 405 is supposed to be in international finance, not monetary economics. So monetary economic usually we looking at in terms of how the money evolve I mean, how the money take place in economic decision, in economic analysis. We're looking at the inflation, we're looking at the monetary policies, how the central bank set up the policy, for example, and we're also looking at fiscal policies, because monetary policy and fiscal policy are related to each other. So it's more about monetary economic. And so international finance, we're looking at how transaction is priced, looking at exchange rate, we're looking at the price level, we're looking at the foreign exchange market, we're looking at balance of payments, all of this, and we're looking at the international monetary systems, the history about how the monetary system evolve over times. Yeah, something like this. But because he already take out all of this to his monetary economic, as I mentioned, I need to make a lot of change to my course syllabus. And this year, the cost will be different from the previous year. I mean, the other years before, because these issues. And so I'm sorry for this. I'm sorry for being delay on the course outline and the course syllabus, but I need to work on the issues with the school as well, so that we do not have a duplicate. I mean, the same topic twice by different lecturers. So that's I answer to your question. But
Yes,
so
teacher.
we will have a thank you. So today we do a little bit on the introductions. I will post this presentation after we finish the class. Okay, so do you see my screen now?
Yes, teacher, we can.
Okay. So we do introduction to international. I mean, the core is about international finance, and so it's about the international. I mean, the relationship between the countries with the other, with the rest of the world. Most of the time, because it's international means you do transaction with the rest of the world. And as I mentioned, international finance, we're looking at how we price transactions or how transactions are priced. So we're looking at exchange rate, foreign exchange market, and balance of payment, some of those stuff. So it's just a brief introduction about international finance. This is the contents. So we're looking at the introduction, we see trade a little bit. I'm not going to touch on trade because you have another subject on the trade, I think, trade policy or trade, international trade. Then we're looking at balance of payment, exchange rate, and we're looking at how international finance develop or evolve or important to the economies in the last part. So you can see that so far we have if you read the if you read about journal in or news academic paper on financial crisis, you see that the world already experienced a few crises so far. So we have Great Depressions, we have sovereign debt crisis, we have Asian financial crisis, we have global financial crisis that broke out during the 2008, 2009. So actually, the crisis have the special editions. So you see that the Great Depression is something happened during the industrial revolutions. It's more like the after the before the so after the World War, I think, and it's and then we have sovereign debt crisis, which more like those are in Latin America's regions, and then we have Asian financial crisis, which is in Asia, the Asia regions, and then we have global financial crisis, which is again almost every country hit it by the financial crisis, global financial crisis, obviously GFC. And then, so the GFC, so I'm not talking about the pandemic crisis because it's actually not related to finance, or it's not happened because of finance or because of the economic policies, but because of the pandemic itself. So the world economy is actually affected by the global financial crisis because they hamper the economic growth, and you see a lot of people got unemployed, and the income is stagnant in most of the countries. So after the GFC, because of GFC, we say we agree that it started at the US and it spilled over to the other countries. So since after the GFC, the US has more or less 5 years after GFC that the US can return to full employment. But after that, so before the GFC, the economic growth is actually in the US is growing really significant, really fast. But after the GFC, even though the employment returned to its full capacity, but the economy is still growing slowly than it did before the crisis. But it's fortunate because it's growing. Only if only if the growth is slowly than before the crisis. And then we have another issue in European Union. So the Euro common currencies, if you remember your IE405, the euro currencies, the common currency, is actually it put on the strain on the economy in Europe, and they are itself under stress after the Brexit, the British vote to withdraw, and there are some political issue in anti-migration sentiment as well in Euro areas. And Japan, so Japan is one of the developed countries. So here is something about the country in the developed countries. So the United States, the Europe, and Japan, those who used to lead the economic growth, the world economic growth. But after the GFC, they experienced some issue in their economies. So now in Japan, they continue to face deflation pressures and a high level of public debt. So if you remember macroeconomic, you study about inflations. We say inflations will provide us some challenges, but deflation. So most of the people fight for inflations. We want to keep inflation. We want to keep price levels stable, but deflation also have its own issue as well. That's what Japan is facing right now. So Japan, instead of trying to fight for inflation, but Japan putting out the policy to raise the price level, which is really interesting story, different from the other story. And Japan have a high level of public debt to GDP, so it's about 200% of the GDP. And for the standard, for the benchmark, actually public debt should be usually around 40% or something of the GDP, but Japan is the exceptional, even though they have a high level of public debt, but Japan is still doing good, the economy, which is different from Greece. Greece also have a high level of public debt after the GFC. You can see the fall of Greece. I mean the Greece government announced their economy fall into the trap under the public debt, and then many countries require Greece to pay for their debt. It's different from Japan because most of the public debt in Japan is domestics. So Greece public debt is, most of them are foreign debt. That's why even though Japan have a high level of public debt, but because the debt is rest on the domestic the domestic residents, so Japan economy is still doing well despite the inflations. And then we're looking at the emerging markets. So emerging market, those country we call those countries include Brazil, China, Russia's, India, Singapore. Those are emerging market, and even though those countries they have a fast growing, the income gain really significance, but those countries, those emerging market economies still remain vulnerable to the inflow and outflow of the global capitals and the up and down of the world commodity price, because the emerging economy, they depend their capital flow from the from the developed country like United States, Europe, and Japan. So if those countries have challenge in their economy, the emerging market economy may face vulnerability as well, because their capital that they need to that they need for the economic growth, we also be vulnerable as well. And then emerging market economy, they depend on the world economy commodity price, because some of those countries they do trade with the rest of the world. They are the main supplier of the commodities, like Brazil, for example. So in terms of investment, investment globally is also facing the challenge because of the trade protectionisms. So the bilateral international trade regime has some issues, even though after the World War II. And in the last 10 years, people are debate for or urging for releasing the trade protectionism after the trade war between the US and China, if you have heard about this. So trade. So why people trade? Can anyone tell me why people trade?
Hello, lecturer. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is emerging market and frontier market the same?
Yeah, some of the country are they are in both frontier and emerging market economy. So sometimes economists they like to use fancy word. So some of the country in emerging are also in frontier economy as well.
Yes, thank you, lecturer.
Okay. So why people trade?
Sure, people trade because they can enjoy more variety. Sure.
Yeah. Any other?
That is all from me. Sure.
Okay, thank you. It's a good one.
I think another point is that people trade in order to identify the country trade in order to identify which product they are specialized in, so they can keep focusing on using that product.
Yes. So we trade because we have specialization, and we trade because we want to have more variety of goods in our country. Yeah. So when people trade, they involve in transactions, they involve in money that's come in the finance. So after the emerge from the World War II, so before that actually people doesn't trade with each other that much. But after the World War II, trade and financial system and communication are now getting developed, evolving. So, and then if we see the globalizations, it has a rise after the World War II, and international trade in goods and service actually has expanded in the last 6 decades. And because actually before, trade is limited because we have communication problems, communication limited in communications. We have limited in transportation because transportation is really costly. And then now the international trade, I mean the trade between countries in the global in the world actually increasing because technologies also involved in making the trade easier in terms of transportation, shipping, in terms of communication. We have internet, for example. So, and then we have a negotiation between government in terms of trade barrier. And then we have a lot of outsourcing activity. And then we also have a greater awareness of how important is the foreign culture and the foreign products. Like your friend mentioned earlier, that we can enjoy variety of foods, variety of products that we are not specializing in. So that how trade evolved during the last 6 decades. But as I mentioned, the trade war begins in the last few years between China and the US. That's put a great challenge to those to all the countries, because when these two big countries they start fighting, other country they start to take side. They start to take side, like who support who. So then trade protectionism is a emerging issue in terms of international trade in the world. So in international finance, we're looking at the balance of payment. So the BOP, we usually say BOPs. So understanding the balance of payment is understanding how the transaction is measured. So when you do trade, actually consider you have a business at home. So when you have a business like selling something at home, for example, so you sell something to your customers and then you buy something from your supplier. So these are involving in paying the money. So for a company that big enough, they have an accounting system that record all of this transaction. So the balance of payment is actually the accounting for the countries because they record the economic transaction between the resident of the country with the rest of the world. And the balance of payment of BOP is just like the accounting because they involve in double entries as well. So you debit in one account, you need to credit in another ones. And BOP, they involve in international transactions, exchange of goods and service of assets between the resident of one country and those of another. So we will see how the balance of payment look like, and we will go into the detail of how it's recorded. Because it's important that you understand the how you understand the transaction or the item involved in balance of payments. So in the balance of payment, we actually recorded the flow which is associated to the transaction that we have with the rest of the world. So what we have in the BOPs, we have residents. So residents, including those businesses, we have individual, household, and we have government agency as well. And then we have a transaction, credit transaction, as I mentioned, it's a double entry accounting systems. So credit transaction is recorded the receipt of a payment from the foreigners. So what we receive from the rest of the world, we record it as a credit transaction, while the debit is the same as accounting the payment to foreigners. So the BOP is generally reported either in domestic currency or in a foreign currency. Usually, the most popular one is in the US dollars. So what are the transactions that we recorded in BOPs? So we recorded the transaction of goods, we recorded the transaction of services, we recorded the exchange of factor of productions, we recorded, so the factor of production including remittance there, and then the capital transfers, and then we also recorded non-produce and we also recorded non-financial assets as well. And finally, of course, we recorded financial asset and liability that the country trade or exchange with the rest of the world. And then the BOP, we consider residencies. So residency of household and individuals, and residency of enterprises, government of a country, the non-profit organization. And we do have the transaction with international organizations like the IMF or the ADB, that they, some of the transaction will be recorded in the BOP as well. So this is a brief what we have in the BOP. Sorry. So in BOP, we have three main accounts. We have a current accounts, we have capital account, and we have financial account. And current account is we recorded the transaction of goods. transaction or service, and then we have the primary income account there. And we also have the secondary income account there as well. So we're looking into detail what is those accounts and how they recorded in the later lectures. And we have capital account. So capital account is recorded the acquisition or disposal of the non-produced non-financial assets. So non-produced non-financial assets is actually, for example, those natural resources, land, mineral, energy reserve, or any biological resources, water resources, and others. So they are non-produced because they are naturally built. And then we have capital transfers, which is recorded in the capital accounts. The last main account is the financial account. So financial account, we recorded the transaction of direct investment, foreign direct investments. We record transaction and portfolio investment in terms of financial asset and liabilities. And then we record other investment other than foreign direct investment and portfolio investment. And also we have a reserve asset, the international reserve recorded in the financial account as well. So, any questions so far?
Sure. Can you give an example of disposal of non-produced non-financial assets?
So non-produced non-financial asset, as I mentioned, consists of natural resources, like because we are not producing them.
Yeah, sure.
It's nature's.
Yeah, sure.
And yeah.
But I just want to know the example of the disposal of natural resources.
Oh, for example, land. Sometimes a country so for example, in terms of international relation with other country. So the embassy residence is, for example, if the U.S. residents, the United States, they have they build their embassy, they put an embassy in Cambodia. Their embassy at the Rocknum is actually we give them, or sometimes the government of the United States buy that land. So that will be recorded in the capital accounts.
Okay, so when we buy the land for the embassy, we acquisition.
It's just one example.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand you.
Okay. Any other question? Any other questions? No? So, okay. So when we're discussing about BOP, actually we looking at what we call deficit or surplus. I mean the key term that we use. So the first issue that we're looking at is the current account phenomenon. So the current account phenomenon, usually we're looking at how whether current account is deficit or is a surplus, and what does it mean. So in current account balance, it actually, when the current account balance, we have a net foreign investment in national income accounting, and then when the current account is surplus, it means that the whether the country they have excess export over the imports. So current account surplus or deficit have come from a lot of reasons. So the first one is whether they have excess export over the imports. Export of goods and service, they have export of investment incomes, or they have exports unilateral any unilateral transfers. So that's one reason. Another reason is because the country is actually have a net receipt of financial claims. It means they receive a lot of financial claim to the rest of the world, and and you already know what is claiming. So, for example, between U.S. and China, so China is actually have a current account surplus, while the U.S. So I just take an example. While the U.S. is having current account deficits. So in terms of financial assets, actually China have a lot of claims from the U.S. I mean, because China, they have money. The resident in China, they have money. They buy the stock, they buy the equity, they buy bond in the U.S. So in terms of bond and equity or stock, it's actually a claim that the U.S. resident or the U.S. company need to pay for China's. So that's why China has current account surpluses, because they have a net receipt, or they need claim they need the financial asset that they need to claim from the U.S. So this is the example of net receipt of financial claim. So this is just examples only. And then we have improve, or maybe the country that improve in net foreign investment positions, or probably they come from the capital outflows, and or they are the net supplier of funds, so like China and the US at the moment. So if they are the lenders to the rest of the world, usually they will have current account surpluses. Deficits. So deficit is just actually the other way around from the previous slides. So deficit means probably the country have excess import over the exports, or they have increase in net foreign claim. They have foreign capital inflow. They have a net demand of fund from abroad, or the country net foreign investment position is worsening. So if you have import more than export, of course, it means that when you import something from other country, or take an example, if you're buying something from someone, it means you have to pay them. So you import from other country, it means you have the claim to pay for other country, even though you buy goods, you buy services, or you buy financial assets, or you sell financial assets. I mean, you have the claim to pay for the other country or the rest of the world. So that is similar to, so the current account deficit is just the other way around with the current account surpluses. And you see that some country, like the US, we cannot imagine that large country like the US or the most powerful country is actually have current account deficits. It means the US, they import a lot from the other country, and the US have a lot of claim. It means US is actually incur a debt to the rest of the world. So that's why you see the presidential debate between during Trump's or during Joe Biden. You see they always touch on the trade war between the US and China, and they said current account deficit in the US because, I mean, they always they keep saying that they keep claiming that the deficit in the US is actually because of China's, but actually the US said that they make themselves, because it's more like they put a claim on China, but actually the US said they are the one who propose or start a war actually, and actually trade war, if you're looking at clearly, it does not, when the US impose a trade barrier with China, increase the tariff for China doesn't lose anything, and the one who suffer the trade barrier is actually the American consumers. And I'm not going to touch on that because I think the lecture in international trade will discuss about that and how the American consumers suffer from the trade. You can ask him, or if he doesn't touch on it, you can ask him who benefit from the trade war between US and China. And I can claim that the one who suffer is the American users, the American consumers, while China doesn't lose anything. So this is what BOP briefly look like. It's just a brief one. And then we're looking at the exchange rate. So why exchange rate play an important role in finance? In international finance. So as I mentioned, when we trade, we use monies. And different countries, we have different currencies. So exchange rate play a central role in international trade because they allow us to compare the price of goods and services produced in different countries. And exchange rate tell us how much domestic currency can be exchanged for foreign currency, and thus, because they have an effect, they have effect on goods that we import and how much it costs in the domestic currency. And then it also have an impact on the good that we export and how much it costs in foreign markets. So, for example, let's take China and the US. So, for example, if the US dollar is appreciating against China, so appreciating means the US good will be more expensive if they export to China. But the US is enjoying the import from China because they can buy cheaper goods from China while their currency is appreciating. And China is just the other way around. So exchange rates actually play an important role in international trade. And that's why we're looking at the exchange rate because it affects it tells us about the movement in domestic currencies and foreign currencies. And then the domestic currency the domestic currency lay a whole responsibility on monetary policies, on how the central banks should impose or should implement any policies that favors the current economic situation, whether they need to raise interest rate, whether they need to lower the interest rate. That's are all based on monetary policy or mostly on the central banks. So the exchange rate, in different countries is different based on their region. Some exchange rate change continually because they are float, while other they are fixed for some period of time. So it depends on which regime that the country is is implementing. So we're just looking at a review on how exchange rate look like. I think you already know and you already learned in macroeconomics and as well in IE405. So the exchange rate is just the domestic currency over foreign currency. So here is the price of a unit of foreign currency in terms of domestic currency or in terms of domestic currencies. And exchange rate is actually measure the relative price of one currency in terms of another. So actually exchange rate is also the price level, but only the price level in terms of currencies. So for example, the US dollar price 1 UK pound, yeah, 1.1, the exchange rate of 1 pound over a dollar is 1.85, for example. So it's just the price, it's just the price of the currency itself. And when we're talking about exchange rate, the key term that we already remember is appreciation and depreciation. So if the currency start to buy more of another currency, as I mentioned, we say it's appreciated against that currencies. And the other way around, when the currency start to buy less of another currency, we say it has depreciated against that currencies. So I already gave you the example, so I'm not going to touch on that because you already know appreciation and depreciations in macroeconomics. So how about when in Euro area, when they use common currencies? So when comparing goods across in service across country, we can use exchange rate to compare price in the same currency term. So changes in exchange rate affect relative price of goods across countries. So when you want to compare when we want to compare price of import from abroad, we usually use the real exchange rate. We're talking about real exchange rate because in the real exchange rate, we are not only looking at the exchange rate itself, but we also include price level, the price of good and service in the real exchange rate as well. So usually when we want to compare price of a common currency, or now we want to compare price of the different currencies, we always use real exchange rate because they use both exchange rate and price level. So they tell us more about whether the currency or the home currency in appreciation or depreciation against the foreign currency. And so when we're talking about the exchange rate or the currency is actually, how to say, we also trade currencies. And where we trade currencies, we actually trade currency in the foreign exchange market. The set of market where the foreign currency and other assets are exchanged for domestic ones. So the institutions, they buy and sell deposit of currency or other assets for investment purposes. So they buy, so for example, we have a US dollar deposit, certificate of deposit, and then we want to sell it in the foreign exchange market for other assets that we think it will give us more proceeds or more profits. So the market that has the more transactions. So we have a lot of market. We have commodity market, we have stock market, we have an equity market, but the most market that have really high frequency of transaction is those in foreign exchange markets. So this is an example in 2010. the volume of foreign exchange transaction was about 4 trillion US dollar, while in 1989 just about 5 billions. And the currency that people trade or more transaction that appear in the foreign exchange market is the exchange foreign currency for US dollars, because even though the US economy has some issues or some challenge, but we still believe that the US dollar is still the most stable currencies. That's why most of the transaction in the foreign exchange market are in US dollar. 85% is only in 2010, but I think now other currency also play a role, like probably euro, Japanese yen or renminbi as well. So now renminbi also take a part in the foreign exchange market as well. Then when we're talking about exchange rate market, we're also looking at the spot rate or forward rate. So when you exchange or you trade in foreign exchange market, whether you want to have a spot rate or you want to have forward rate. So the spot rate are just the rate of the currency on the day that you trade, and when the trading is executed. And the forward rate is the rate that we agree that it will appear or it will occur at the future, at the forward date. So the forward date are typically in 30 days, in 90 days, in 180, or in 600 and 360 days, according to the contract. And so when you trade, the rates are negotiated between the two parties in the present, but the exchange occur in the futures. And they use the forward rate because they want to reduce the risk of exchange rate. So, for example, person A and person B, they want to swap their currencies. So, for example, let's say in Cambodia we have person A, they have 4,000 here, and then person B, they have $1. So today rate is that 4,000 will equal $1. So they do the trade with each other, but they have a negotiation between the two parties that when the exchange occur in the futures, they will keep, for example, the rate at 4,000 at $1. So in the next 30 days, for example, if the contract on the contract day, they have agreed on 4,000 equal $1 in the next 30 days. And then on the next 30 days, it appeared that 4,100 equal $1. So they will just follow what are in the contract, what are they agreed on. So it reduces the risk of exchange rate between the two parties, actually. And it happened a lot in the foreign exchange market. So who are the participants in the foreign exchange market? Actually, commercial bank and other depository institutions. They involve buying and selling the deposit in different currency for investment purposes. If you work at a bank, you didn't know, actually banks are also involved in foreign exchange market as well. And then we have non-bank financial institutions, mutual funds, hedge funds, security firm, insurance company, pension fund. They also buy and sell foreign assets for investments. We have non-financials, business conduct foreign currency transaction to buy and sell goods and service and assets. And we have central bank. We also involved in foreign exchange market because we conduct official international reserve transactions, because exchange rate have an impact on international reserve as well. But buying and selling, actually, as I mentioned, are dominated by commercial bank and investment bank. So we do not have a investment bank here, but we do have commercial bank a lot. We do have commercial banks. So the interbank transactions on deposit in foreign currency occur in amount 1 million or more per transaction. And central bank, as I mentioned, we also involved in foreign exchange market because we sometimes intervene because the impact of the transaction may have a large, I mean, what happened in the foreign exchange market, we have an impact on the monetary policy. So that's why central bank sometimes intervenes. And if you follow the news, if you follow the NBC, they do some intervention as well during the last several months. Because you see the exchange rate, Khmer is a little bit depreciating, even though it's still in our band, but it's depreciating. So we do intervene during the last few months to maintain stable exchange rate and price levels on inflation. Any questions? So actually here we do not mention money changes. So we do we do have a lot of money changers here, and some of the big ones they also involved in the options of selling and buying foreign exchange with the NBC as well. We have banks, we have MFI money changers that involved in the options with the central bank with the NBCs. Any questions?
Sure. Liho money changer Liho they register under bank or MFI sure?
Okay, that's a good question. So, you know, Liho they have a parent companies, right? So Liho Group is a parent companies. So under Liho Group, they have a lot of subordinations, a lot of subordinate. So Liho Money Changer is different. Liho MFI, now not MFI anymore, they already transformed to banks. So Liho Bank and Liho Money Changer is under the parent company of Liho Groups. And they have to get the license from the NBCs in both. They have two licenses, money changers and banks. Different ones, not the same. And I answer, do I answer your questions?
Yes, sir. Understand, sir.
Okay. So Liho before is an MFI, but they already upgrade to commercial bank actually in 2020, I think.
Yes, sir. Because I saw SBI Liho they operate differently from the Liho money changer because the Liho money changer they still change but they are not like bank or something.
Yeah, yes, of course, but they're different. But they under the same parent companies.
So Liho Holding they register at NBC for both of them, right, sir?
Yes, if they want to operate a bank, they have to request a license for banks. Then they have requesting the license for money changers. So difference. And we have a lot of criteria for banks and for money changers. If you want to see, you can looking at the law and regulation at the NBC website. Questions? Any other questions? So we're not going to take a break, but we can leave early today. So if I talk too fast or you don't catch what I'm talking, you can raise your hand and inform me and or ask me to take to explain again. Okay, so exchange rate is a big story. It's not fun actually. Um, and now we're looking at the exchange rate regime. So different country, maybe we implement different regimes. Some countries they adopt fixed exchange rates, some they adopt floating exchange rates, some they manage float. A lot of regime over there. So adopting any regime is actually depends on the country economic situations and macroeconomic policies. So we adopt any regime is actually to build a model that explains the observed behaviors, which is important to the economic decisions. Then again, the exchange rate regime refers to the category that reflect policy choice made by the government, as I mentioned. You adopt any regime depends on, it's a policy choices, depends on your condition, your country condition, and your macroeconomic policies. And the two general categories that we see in the exchange rate regime or exchange rate behaviors are fixed exchange rate regime and floating exchange rate regimes. So the pitch exchange rate regime, or sometimes we say peg exchange rate. Actually, economists always love fancy words. Sometimes make us confusing, but actually they they have the same meaning. But we just want to make ourselves more fancy. So the fixed exchange rate or peg exchange rate is actually where a country exchange rate does not fluctuate at all, or at some band they fluctuated but very, very small against some base currencies over a period of time, usually in a longer period, more than a year. And in the fixed exchange rate regime, the government intervention in the market for foreign exchange, because they want to maintain the fixed exchange rate. They want to maintain stable exchange rate in the countries. And the foreign exchange rate on the other way around, it means the country allow the exchange rate to fluctuate over time. And the government made no attempt to peg any exchange rate, the exchange rate against any base currencies. So in flow exchange rate regime, we will see fluctuations, appreciation and depreciations may occur from day to day, week to week, month to month, or even every minute. And the volatility of the fluctuation may be different really from one floating regime to another. So the amount of the volatility of the fluctuations is different from one country to another. I mean, doesn't mean that two countries they adopt the same floating regime, they will have the same fluctuation or the same volatility. No, I mean to the extent of the volatilities, the extent of the fluctuation is different between countries who adopt the same floating regime. So this is just an example. The U.S. dollars to Hong Kong dollars. So Hong Kong is actually currency board. They adopt currency boards. So currency board is also sometimes they fix, and then sometimes they allow the currency to fluctuate as well. You can see on the graph here. This is on the right hand side is the US dollar and Japanese yen. You can see the US dollar, the United States and Japan, they adopt floating exchange rate. So there's no period that the US dollar and Japanese yen is fixed. They float over time. And you see the floating here is not much because we use annual data. But if you take like monthly data, you will see a lot of fluctuation there. So this is just an examples of the country that adopt different exchange rate regimes. So how about other regimes? So exchange rate regime of the world, they have official and unofficial exchange rate regimes. And the difference occur because some countries they adopt one regime, follow another in practice. Some countries they even have no currency of their own, dollarizations. Other they have a strict tax through the use of currency board, as I mentioned. So some countries they use other currency of their own, like dollarization. So dollarization, I mean using other country money instead of your own currencies. And dollarization doesn't mean you use dollars. You can use other foreign currency. I mean foreign currency, but we do not have other word. We just use dollarizations. So this is the graph showing how the exchange rate regime there. So we move from the exchange rate peg, the strict pegs, to the freely floating exchange rate. So you see we have exchange rate peg, we have crawling peg and band, we have limited flexibility, we have managed float, we have float and then freely floating exchange rate. But among them, we have more. We will see on the table here. So on the table here, we take from the IMF. It's a spectrum of exchange rate regime that show recent classification of exchange rate regime around the world. So we have a country that really no separate legal tenders. Country that use another currency as a legal tender or dollarization. We have East Timor, Ecuador, Eastern Caribbean, Panama, for example. Then those countries that have Eastern Caribbean currency union, like Dominic and other countries. We have Eurozone. There no separate legal tender for country in Europe areas, Austria, Belgium, Cyprus, Finland, France, for example. So these are they use common currencies. I mean, in each country they don't have legal tenders, and then we have a country in Africa that use francs, Cameroon, Central African, Congo, for example. Those countries, because they colonized by France, they still use francs as their currencies. They do not have legal tenders. Then we have currency board, as I mentioned, Brunei, Bulgaria, Estonia, Hong Kong, Lithuania, Bosnia, for example. They are adopt currency boards. We have other fixed peg, Argentina, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Denmark, Fiji, and other countries you can see there. We have peg within horizontal bands, so we allow really limited floating. So those countries in Syria and Tongas, we are crawling peg. Bolivia, Botswana, China, Ethiopia. So crawling peg means you fix, but at some point, you also allow for little or limited fluctuation. But we have another regime is crawling bands, is Costa Rica, for example. And then we have managed floating. Managed floating like Cambodia, Thailand, Indonesia. Cambodia, I would say, is a little bit special because we are one of the dollarized countries, dollarized economies. But because we still use both, currencies, primarily in US dollars. So we still have our own legal tenders, unlike East Timor or Panama or Ecuador, that they do not have a legal tender. We dollarization, but we do use our own currency at the same time with dollars, and we adopt stable exchange rate or manage flowing. Mean we do intervene sometimes in the foreign exchange market, and we allow the exchange rate to fluctuate within the band that we predetermine we determine within the central bank is that. And then the last one, we have freely floating or independently floating, like the US, Canada, Brazil, Australia, UK, New Zealand, Japan, for example. They are those countries that adopt floating exchange rate. Any questions? No questions? You hungry? Okay, I want to finish with that. Any questions?
Hello, teacher.
Yes.
I have a question relating to foreign reserve. Like how can the central bank use foreign reserve to influence the exchange rate, and how they do that?
Good questions. Probably we can finish this and I will answer the questions. Is it good?
Yeah, teacher.
So this is the case for Cambodia. So because we are a dollar economy, and so the exchange rate policy is one of the key tools of the monetary policy in Cambodia. And the objective of the exchange rate policy is to achieve price stability and stable price levels. And we continuing to implement managed floating regime or stable exchange rate, I would say. And we intervene the foreign exchange market to maintain the exchange rate with what we determine in our policies. And the NBC official exchange rate or the central bank official exchange rate as a whole represent the bidding and asking price of the foreign exchange against KHO for NBC transaction with a third party, or it's a benchmark for private sectors. So the private sector take the central bank official exchange rate as a benchmark, and then they have a markup for 0.5 or 1%, depending on their treasuries, I think. And how the NBC set the exchange rate? So we have a committee that determine the official exchange rate. Usually we do it early in the morning, and we have a lot of officials from different departments, banking operations, issuing department, exchange management, statistics, and economic research, my department. So we meet early in the morning. They meet early in the morning to set the official daily exchange rate, and by analyzing internal and external data, they got to inform the committee, and then the committee will decide how much we will publish the exchange rate. And when the exchange rate is volatile and out of the some range or band, the committee will hold an urgent meeting to discuss how we're going to do next. And you can see, so far we have, as I mentioned, we do intervene several times in the foreign exchange market to stabilize the exchange rates. So that's all. And how we do it and what are they. So the question, sorry, I forgot the question again, please. Can I have your question again?
How can the central bank use the foreign reserve to influence the exchange rate? Like, how do they do that?
Oh, yeah. Do options. Buy and selling. That's how we do. That you happy with that?
So it's associated with like the amount of money in the economy when we accumulate or we sell the foreign reserve.
Yes, of course. So when we intervene, because the international reserve is really important, if we intervene, we do it very carefully. And if we still have ways, we do not want to intervene actually, because buying and selling auctions may affect the international reserve. So we need to do it very carefully actually if we want to intervene. For example, if we want to sell US dollars, for example, maybe take the international reserve. So in interventional options in foreign exchange market is associated with, as you mentioned, with how the country is doing, whether we should do it, or at the end, we need to consider it carefully if the exchange rate is really out of the band or almost at the band. We do really need an intervention there, but again, we must do it very carefully, and it affects, as I mentioned, the international reserve. And international reserve actually, the change in international reserve doesn't mean it only from intervention. It can be from the other factor as well. Because we have a lot of component there. Is it good?
I actually have one follow-up question. Like, for example, like for a country that they do fix exchange rate, so there are some argument that it will eventually fail. Can you expand why?
Well, what do you mean by fail?
Like, for example, in Myanmar, they set a certain amount that one kyat is equal to $1, and the argument that it will fail in a certain period of time. So how do the exchange rate play in that scenario? I'm just curious.
I think adopting adopting fixed exchange rate doesn't mean the country will fail. It comes from a lot of dimensions. So if you take Myanmar, it's really exceptional. And you know what happened in Myanmar right now, right? So the chaos in the country is one of the reasons that, play an important role. How to say, the political stabilities also play an important role in macroeconomic of the country. So if you say adopting fixed exchange rate will fail, I don't think it's a good claim. And taking Myanmar is, for example, is an exceptional case right now. And we do have countries that adopt fixed exchange rate like China. And you see how successful is it?
Yes, teacher. Thank you, teacher.
Thank you. Any other questions? Any other questions? Let me check. I have a lot to go. You guys want to continue or you want to stop here?
So I think we can take a break from.
Because it's almost 8. You want to stop here and continue next week, or you want to finish it by today? Yeah. Okay. So everyone agree?
Agree, teacher.
Yes, like
Yes, Chair.
Okay, I think it's very new. We will continue the rest next week, and then we go to chapter 2. Any questions so far? Or I talk too fast, slow down? Next time, I mean.
So far, so good. Yeah, thank you.
So far, so good. Okay. So if I talk too fast, just let me know. Sometimes when I talk, I cannot stop myself. So that's my my bad. So thank you for today, and we can keep contact in the team, Microsoft team. If you have any questions,
Teacher,
yes.
teacher, can you send the slide after class? I think
Yeah,
it's
of
better
course.
if we prepare for the next section, teacher.
But sometimes I talk more than slide. So yeah, I will drop a slide presentations. Thank you.
Thank you, teacher.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you everyone for today. Have a nice dinner with your family or your friends, and be cautious. Protect yourself. I think the outbreak is still, it's now very bad, I think. So take care. Okay, enjoy your dinner, everyone.
yes, like thank you. Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Yeah, bye bye.